Hare Krishna. Good morning.
Hare Krishna. Good morning.
May I have a word? In our lifelong discipline, practice of chanting japa, it's helpful to take stock in what we're doing and also have cultivation of ways in which we can get the most out of it. I find wherever we go that the topmost question is, how do I do japa properly? Oftentimes it seems difficult in a busy life to complete 16 rounds, or even when one's not busy, to have attention in chanting japa. So I'll just give a few brief ideas that Prabhupada has given us. I extracted 4 instructions that he gave on japa from his many teachings on chanting. There are very few specifically about japa, but some of them are included in this. And I call this session Happy Japa because at Govardhan Hill, where we spend time during Kartik, the temple president there started many years ago. Just after we do Vaiśeṣika, then the next item was japa, so you'd always call out Happy Japa. And I thought it was appropriate. One of the ways in which, when devotees do deity worship, they approach the deity, there's various stages. One is collecting paraphernalia. The next stage is called yoga, which means that before you just start worshiping the deity, you actually meditate upon what you're going to do. And part of that is called the Bhuta Shuddhi. Everyone say. Bhuta Shuddhi means to purify the elements of your body. And this is what a pujari would say before starting deity worship. And if you'd like to read along with it, it's something that can be very helpful before you start your japa, just to have a short ritual in order to center yourself and remember who you are. So I'll say it. If you'd like to follow along, you can look at the screen. Sorry if it's inconvenient because of where you're sitting. I am by nature the eternal servant of Krishna, but by misfortune, due to being inimical towards him since time immemorial, I have been wandering within the cycle of birth and death in the material world, being burnt by the threefold miseries. Now as a result of some unimaginable good fortune, by the mercy of my spiritual master, I know that I am an infinitesimal living being, completely apart from the gross and subtle body. Now, by the order of my spiritual master, I have obtained the good fortune of serving his lotus feet, as well as the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Shri Shri Radha Madhav. So this is the way of bringing one's attention, instead of just lurching into one's japa. And then the next one is also standard, and it goes like this. If you can say together, I'm not a Brahmana, I'm not a Kshatriya, I'm not a Vaishya or a Shudra, nor am I a brahmachari, a householder, a vanaprastha, or a sannyasi. I identify myself only as the servant of the servant of the servant of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, the maintainer of the gopis. He is like an ocean of nectar, and he is the cause of universal transcendental bliss. He is always existing with brilliance. And this next item is called sankalpa. Sankalpa means to make a clear intention before you start any kind of sacrifice. And I've found, and others have found who do this, that making a very short sankalpa before you chant japa, saying, this is why I'm chanting, this is what I'm offering you today, Krishna, then there's a way in which the mind is much more focused. So the spiritual urge, and I'll read this excerpt from Prabhupada's purport in the second canto. When the mind acts under spiritual urge, it acts wonderfully for going back home, back to Godhead, for life in complete bliss in eternity. Therefore the mind has to be manipulated by good and unalloyed intelligence. Perfect intelligence is to render service unto the Lord, One should be intelligent enough to understand that the living being is, in all circumstances, a servant of the circumstances. So, a sankalpa can be as simple as saying, Krishna, I'm chanting my japa today because I'm your servant and I'm begging, please engage me in your service. If you make that statement before you start japa, or whatever statement you make as a sankalpa, it solidifies your purpose and moving forward in japa. And this is the first of the 4 statements Prabhupada made about chanting. He wrote in a letter in 19th November 1968, yoga system is approved, but nobody can follow the rules and regulations strictly. Neither there is suitable place for executing it, and everyone is always full of anxiety. So how they can concentrate? So best thing is to chant Hare Krishna, which is forced meditation. And writing about forced meditation elsewhere, Prabhupada says, when the holy name is there, because you're speaking it, the holy name has its own force. And we hear from Nam Namakari Bahuda, Nija Sarva Shaktis, all of Krishna's personal energy or force is there in his holy name. So when we're chanting, Krishna helps to force his way into our ears, into our heart. And the next one, he says, and he wrote this in a letter in 16 June 1969, is entitled Determination and Effort. Regarding your last question about the ecstatic symptoms of chanting Hare Krishna, you should know that the Hare Krishna mantra has an equal effect upon all devotees. Just like the sunshine has an equal effect on everyone, but when it is covered, the sunshine has a different effect. Similarly, the influence of the Hare Krishna mantra becomes manifest when one is no longer covered by the 10 offenses to chanting. The more we become free from the 10 offenses, the more the effect of chanting becomes manifested through us. Everyone can become a great devotee, being freed from the offenses 100%, simply by one's determination and effort. And determination has the word terminus in it, which means to finish something. You come to the end of it. So the symptom of determination is that you finish what you started. If you start your 16 rounds, you finish them. Of course, maybe not in one sitting, but you make sure you finish every day without fail. And effort, I took a statement from Vaisesika when talking about japa. The mind is restless, turbulent, always disturbed. So he says you have to fight for it. It's not that japa is easy, that you'll just sit down and everything will flow naturally, but you have to make your own effort and try for it, or actually fight for it to make sure. And one of the ways I found that is helpful and vital and important is that we have to decide ahead of time that japa is important. One of the ways I become dissuaded from chanting japa and say, oh, it's so hard, is that I really haven't made up my mind that no matter what, I'm going to chant japa. And in the beginning, it'll be difficult because the mind hasn't become used to it yet or even attached to it. So it's just like when you take medicine, you have to say, even if the medicine is bitter, I'm still going to take it because I'm determined to get better. And if you stop taking your meds, as everybody knows, then you become a disturbance to the whole world. So one has to decide ahead of time and just say, I'm doing this no matter what. That's just the process. And when we make that decision, then it becomes much easier. Just like on a fast day, if you say, I'm fasting, I'm just not eating, that's all there is to it, then it's not so hard because you already decided. So similarly with japa, once you have the determination that I'm going to finish this every day no matter what, no matter how I feel, then it becomes much easier. Everyone okay so far?
Yes.
Okay. Next, Prabhupada wrote, this is the third one, everything will be revealed one after another. So this talks about the holistic effect of japa. When we chant, we must concentrate our mind on the sound vibration. And in that way, everything will be revealed one after another. The form, the qualities, pastimes, etc. of the Lord, and this is the way of cultivating spiritual realization. So there's one-stop shopping. You don't have to go anywhere else. If you listen to the sound vibration, because the name of Krishna and Krishna are absolute, means they're the same, that everything will be revealed one after another. And what is a key phrase that you'll notice in this letter? You can say it. Yes? Say it. Who said? I can't hear you. Concentrate? Yeah. And what should you concentrate on? Concentrate on sound vibration. Because the pastimes, the form, the qualities, they're all in the sound vibration. So you don't have to conjure pastimes or the form, but you do have to concentrate on the sound vibration. So we call this extended mental concentration. So you may notice when you concentrate your mind on the sound vibration that your mind may go somewhere else. Possible?
Yes.
So one way that you can proceed is one step at a time. Try to see if you can complete one full mantra with full concentration on the mantra. If you really concentrate, you may notice that you get in the first two words and then your mind takes off. Or you get through Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, and for Hare Rama, it just went to the Mall of America or wherever it goes. So if you consider crossing a bridge or walking across a log, a slippery log, and say, how can you balance all the way across and make it through one full Mahamantra? Start there and see, can I actually concentrate and hear all the syllables, all the words, the full mantra, one full mantra? And when you say, anybody could do that, well, try it. The more we concentrate, the more we notice the mind slips off the log and it goes here, there, and everywhere. So start by practicing, say, can I get one full mantra, one full concentration, listening to the sound vibration? If you can do one, then try for two. And in any japa session, see if you can get one full mantra, then one more full mantra. If you could do 3 in a row, that's very advanced. If you could actually keep your mind on 3 full mantras. And if you're able to do it, then see if you can do it again. And keep sustaining that all the way through. It's a natural condition of the environment nowadays that we're distracted in many ways, and we don't even know we're distracted until we try to concentrate. Then we realize that the mind seeks distraction. That's rajas. So when we practice this extended mental concentration, we start shaping our mind back again into sattva, where we're able to sit in one place and keep hearing the sound vibration. And it takes a lot of practice over a long time. What does it take? A lot of practice.
Over a long time.
Yeah. So don't think you sit down, chant japa, and it's like, how come I can't concentrate? It's because you're not used to it. You haven't practiced it. Just as much as if you pick up the violin and you say, how come I can't play? I just picked it up. It's like, well, you didn't learn to play one note yet without screechy, screechy. So keep this in mind. It's a serious practice, and you have to make it, you have to be seriously determined to do it. The last quote from Srila Prabhupada, he says, the best remedy is to sit down very tightly and chant Hare Krishna very loudly. And that doesn't mean you chant so loud that the person next to you can't hear. It just means, loudly means that it's amplified so you can hear it in your ears. And chant Hare Krishna very loudly and hear for a long time until he feels himself one-minded and fixed on Krishna's lotus feet. Anything you notice about this quote?
Very tightly and long time.
Very tightly a long time. It's something Kapila Dev told his mother also. Devahuti said, it seems really hard to think of Krishna, think of you, my Lord, and keep my mind concentrated. He said, you have to hear for a long time. So think of staying in it longer than your mind wants to stay in it. That's a long time. and practice that. Any other thing you notice?
Open-minded.
Open-minded. Yeah. One-minded.
One-minded.
One-minded means you put the mantra in your mind and the mind in the mantra, and it's like this. There's not two things. One thing. Stay absorbed in the moment. Okay, so one-minded. There's two states. We're either absorbed, one-minded, or we're bored. And the reason we're bored is because we actually haven't committed yet. The mind hasn't become absorbed. So it's like a kid. You bring the kid, if the kid's not used to Bhagavatam class, he's used to watching cartoons or something, and they sit in class, after 2 seconds goes, I want to do something else. So our minds are like that, and they get bored because we're not interested in the subject matter. But if one sits down and listens and thinks, oh, this is interesting, and you get carried away, then the class is over in 2 minutes because you're so absorbed, and same with japa. So we can notice if we're one-minded, then we'll be absorbed. If we're not one-minded, you can notice that your state of mind is bored. Happy japa. Let's take a few reflections. Anything that you heard, or any question that you have, and then we'll just take the last few minutes to chant. Yes?
So, in the beginning when you said you were asked to complete a circle, I was thinking like how...
In the beginning when I said to complete a circle,
so
I'm repeating for the sake of the devotees online who can't hear you. Go ahead.
So when you say circle, I was thinking like how the circle is complete, and
The circle is complete.
and the way we are associating with the holy name is also complete.
The way we're associating with the holy name is also complete.
It seems simple, but it is so powerful to have a circle. And when I was doing
It seems simple, but it's powerful to have a circle.
and we were chanting together in a circle, so I could hear the sound vibrations coming
We're
out.
chanting in a circle so we can hear the sound vibration from others. Thank you. Yes?
Just the importance of setting your intention before you start chanting.
What about it?
Not just sitting down and, I have to do my 16 rounds. I better do that before I drink my tea and get my kids ready. I have to, I'm not thinking ahead. I'm sitting down, I'm focusing my mind. I want to chant from my heart. I want to hear that sound vibration. So just setting your intention before you start.
Yeah. When we set intention, has the word ten. Attention means that we're stretching. That's what the word ten means. It also means to connect, just like tendon. We're connecting to something. So if we jump into a race without getting a good start, we're likely not to do very well. And it's the same thing when we start off with setting a clear intention attached to the purpose why we're doing it, then helps us stay focused. 2 more.
I really like that word determination and effort, and how you explain that determination is to complete and to finish. So you have to have that, I had till 16 round, I had to make that effort to complete that really nicely. So I really liked it.
It really helps when you remember that whether you feel fully absorbed or not, you're still going to finish. Because then you just stay in it, and there's a high likelihood that you'll accidentally get absorbed by staying there. But if, like an impetuous child, you allow your mind to get up and walk away and say, well, I won't do it today, I'll do it tomorrow, then you don't discipline the child becomes unruly. Or I knew somebody who had a dog, and whenever we go visit, the dog would jump on everybody. It was just like a wild beast, because they never mentioned to their dog that it's not a great idea to jump on people. And therefore, he'd had no conception that being a wild beast was not a great idea around human beings. So they had to keep him mostly tied up. So unless we train our minds that are like some pet, then it becomes a wild beast and it just does whatever it wants. And people do crazy stuff because their minds can, under the influence of the modes of nature, do practically anything. So this is the time to train the mind and really, really practice, just like you'd practice the violin, over and over again, trying to get one note. and making sure it's clear. Could take you a year to get one good note out of the violin. But once you do, then you're getting somewhere. And the same thing with japa. So let's just, everyone, before we restart again, we just have a few more minutes to chant. Just do your own sankalpa. Say to Krishna, to the holy name, this is why I'm chanting japa over the next 10 minutes. And just see how it feels to make an intention to Krishna. And then chant into that intention over the next few minutes. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Remember to try extended mental concentration, to try to do one whole mantra and keep your mind focused on it. Hare Krishna. Was anybody ever able to hear one full mantra? Did you try?
Yes.
How did it go?
It was amazing.
Were you able to do 2
Yes.
in a row? How about 3?
Yes.
Well, what was the experience like trying?
More intense.
More intense?
Yes.
Okay, that's good then.
System engaged.
And any overall last comments? We have 30 seconds. About the experience, yes.
Can you give an example of sankalpas, like what should be the sankalpas before?
My dear Lord, if you so desire, please engage me in your service. Thank you for considering my request. Simplest stuff. My dear Lord, if you so desire, please let me give my heart and soul to my chanting of japa today. My dear Lord, if you so desire, please empower me to spread the Sankirtan movement all over the world. Thank you for considering my request. 3 examples.